What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. It's a nice weekend, and as usual, we make sure that every single week I give you at least 1 or 2 videos to make sure you are up to date with finances. So once again, Ken's Money Matters here. Welcome back. We want to look at some of the things you must do by the time you're 30 financially to be ahead or to set yourself up for success. Now, whether you like it or not, when it comes to finances, we look at it in terms of like time, right? We always focusing on the fact that we have a limited amount of time that we need to make some things work. The older you get, the lesser sometimes the chances are, the lesser energy you have, the more responsibilities you have, the opportunities have gone by, and you probably cannot exploit them as much as you could if you start younger. So time is a big factor when you're talking about finances, a big factor. So we want to look at some of the things you need to do by the time you are 30 to set yourself ahead financially speaking. You want to do these things, you have to make sure that they are all on point, and you have like a checklist and say, hey, this is done, this is done, this is done, and this is done, right? So that you sure that when you're going into your 30s, you know where you're going to, you know what path you are on, and you know where you are in terms of what you need to do and what you haven't done yet, which you need to focus on. It just gives you like clarity, really. It's not a universal standard of measure or anything, but it gives you a lot of clarity in terms of what you want to do. It gives you a lot of clarity in terms of where you want to go. It gives you a lot of clarity on which path you are on, especially if you want some kind of financial success, which I would imagine most people do. So I'm past 30 now, so I know these things. I've gone through this as well, and I also made some mistakes. So this is both from my knowledge and also from experience as well. So I know what you need to get ready, what you need to set up by the time you're 30 for you to have an easier time. It doesn't mean that if you don't set these things up by 30, you won't really succeed financially. That's not how it works. But you want to have an easier time when you get to your 30s. So you set up things early enough, you plan so that when you get to your 30s, it's easier. If you notice, most people start experiencing success and growth and what we call compounding effect of growth when they get to 30. So basically having these things set up by the time you're 30s makes it much easier to achieve your goals. But like I said, it doesn't mean that you must have them, and if you don't, then you have failed. It doesn't mean that if you are above 30 and you don't have all these boxes ticked, then you have failed. No. A lot of people realize success even way later in life. But of course, like we say, it gets much easier. You actually improve your chances of getting to those goals if you do these things by 30. So number one, the first thing you want to do by the time you're 30, you should have set up a very clear path in terms of investing. You want to know that you should be investing. That's one. You want to know that you must have some long-term investments. So it means when you're investing, you're thinking long-term. So by the time you're 30, you shouldn't be thinking about small stuff, details, things that you need to achieve every single day, right? Not just independence. You need to think long-term, freedom, financial freedom. You need to think of ways in which you can make money or invest money that can work for you and give you some really good returns. So long-term investing is one thing that people do ignore. And it's because sometimes we look at time that we have and you're thinking, oh, you have like 30 years or you have 40 years, and you're thinking, wow, it's easy. When you're in your 20s, you're like, that's easy. I still have like 40 years or something to do all these things. Yes, but when you're getting to your 30s now, the time is reducing. And we always say the longer you are in the markets, especially if you're investing in, let's say, the stocks market, real estate, all these assets, whether it is digital or physical, the longer you are in the market, the higher the chances of you compounding that wealth and having really amazing returns. So you want to make sure that by the time you're 30, you have actually set out a clear path of investing for long-term goals, of investing for your long-term financial security. So you don't want to be in your 30s or 29 or 28 and only thinking about immediate satisfaction or gratification. You want to be thinking in terms of what is your plan looking into the future? What's your plan in terms of your finances? Where do you want to get to? What kind of financial life do you want to have? So that's very important. Investing requires time. By the time you're in your 20s, probably you just started working, you've organized a few things, you've made some mistakes, you've enjoyed life, you've partied and all those things. Yeah. When you get to your 30s now, you want to start being a bit more serious and taking advantage of the time you have. In 30, you still have good time, you still have a lot of time, but the more you get into your 30s, then now you start losing that time in the market, and therefore your investments might not have the kind of returns, and you don't have enough space to take enough risks when you start later. So starting at 30 or even lower than 30 gives you that chance to start making those mistakes, failing early, and basically getting to those goals way easier. By 30, you need to get rid of bad debt, and here I'm insisting on bad debt because you could have a good debt. So I've seen people are below 30, they've bought houses already, they have some really good assets, so that's good debt, so they're paying it, they're working, that's fine. But if you still have all these small debts that probably are consuming interest, crazy interest, like credit card debt, you could have like student loans if you're in the West, you could have some loans that are basically dragging you down, that are not giving you any money. It's time to pay off that loan, because in that sense it just becomes a bad debt. So you want to get rid of debt. You want to get rid of debt, especially bad debt. And most of the time at 30, you still don't have like real debts, like proper debts that are helping you grow. So this is the time to clear all those things. Look at your credit score, start making that credit score, especially if you're in the West, you want to have a very good credit score, because maybe into your 30s you want to take loans, you want to take a mortgage, you want to buy houses, you want to invest, and you might want to use leverage, which is loan. Then you want to get some kind of insurance. One thing we do ignore is insurance. Get some kind of insurance. It can be a health insurance, can be income protection insurance, can be a term insurance, can even be life insurance, whatever it is, depending on which jurisdiction you are. You want to get some form of insurance. Can even be education insurance for your children. So you need to get some form of insurance, but mainly a health insurance would be good at this stage, and a term insurance would be good at this stage. So get a good insurance that protects you somehow and protects the people who might be depending on you at this stage, because at 30 some people might have dependents. So you want to get it for you, you want to get it for those who are depending on you as well. Make sure you think about insurance. It's one thing most people ignore, but very important if you're getting, or when you get into your 30s. Then one thing I always shout about is get an emergency fund. You must have some money somewhere that can help you cover emergencies. Life happens, things happen, you have to be in a position to cover those things. You don't want to be dipping into your investments, because the thing is, an emergency fund is like an insurance towards your investments. It helps you protect your investments, so that when something happens and you need to spend 100k, or you spend some money, then you don't have to go and dip into your investments at maybe a bad time. You sell at a loss because you want to spend the money. So make sure you have some money that can then help you cover such things. Basically, you need to be a bit liquid at your 30. You need to be a bit liquid. Like I said, you might have dependence, you might not, but at the end of the day, you have certain things in your life that could go wrong, and you become responsible, and you want to be in a position to sort out such stuff. So emergency fund is not just because you need to have the money, it's also because you want to ensure your investments so that you don't have to dip into them when anything happens. Then the other thing that most people ignore until too late, and you should start by the time you're 30, is retirement planning. Start thinking about your retirement, and usually the earlier you start, the better. Like I said, more time investing makes it much easier with maximum potential returns. So if you are getting to your 30s now, have a clear retirement plan. You can have the normal plan. So if you've been working, you probably have an employer's pension. Then you also want to have your own pension, whereby your private pension, you're contributing towards your retirement. You know what you want, you know the kind of life you want in your retirement, and therefore you start contributing towards that life as early as possible. At 30, you should not be saying, oh, I still have so much time. That's the excuse I get all the time. At 30, you don't have so much time, so start thinking about your retirement. Know which accounts you're going to be using so that you can get to your retirement goals as soon as possible. The earlier the better. Some people can get there at 45. Then you get all the time to relax. Then you want to think of your short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. You have to be very clear. So what is it that I want to achieve in the short term? What is it I want to achieve in the medium term? What is it I want to achieve in the long term? Short term could be 0 to 2 years, and then medium term could be 2 to 5 years. Long term could be above 5 years. What is it that you want to achieve? What kind of financial status do you want to be when you hit these milestones? Because if you're 30, 2 years from there is 32. If you add another 5 years from there, or 3 years from there, you're talking about 35, 38, whatever. You have to start thinking about your medium-term plans and your long-term plans, and of course your short-term goal plans. Set them clearly. Say that these are the things I need to do by this time. These are the things I need to achieve by this time. It helps you set clear goals. Basically, what you need is set very clear financial goals, so you get to a point whereby you know what you're doing. So you know that, okay, I'm lagging behind or I'm ahead in terms of my plans, and it just gives you some kind of clarity. They say if you don't have like a plan, you're basically not going anywhere. You must have a map. You must have like a direction. You must have like, oh, I'm going to this place, and this is the map I'm using to get to this place. So set very clear directions when it comes to your finances and when it comes to those goals that you want to achieve at very specific timelines. So don't wait until your 40s and something, then you start thinking, oh, I should have achieved this, or you start comparing yourself to other people. Don't do that. You just want to make sure that you have your own goals that befits what you want, befits your lifestyle, and befits your own objectives in life. Then at 30, you need to at least find some form of business. It's always good to be employed, and I don't have an issue getting employed. I don't have an issue with people making money. A lot of people make money through employment and become rich, but you want to have some security on the side. You want to have something that can give you money. It could be a very simple side hustle, could be a very simple business idea, could be something that just you're passionate about, but not even making so much money out of it, but you have the potential of leveraging it to make money. So you want to have that on the side. You want to have that always ongoing somewhere, even if you're just giving it some little attention. So think of a side hustle. Some people, this is the time you will realize you're really good in some of these businesses. You could be wasting your time with an employer while you could explode if you go into business. So this is the time to think about what other income sources could you have that are independent of your employer, things that don't depend on someone controlling you, so that even if something was to go wrong with your employment, then you have something to focus on. Don't be in a place whereby you're fully reliant on an employer. You want to know that at least you have something on the side that you can actually focus on and do and make money if the employment were not to work, or if something was to go wrong. If you are investing, again, that could be a source of income as well. So that's why I'm insisting you have to think long term, you have to invest, because then that could also be your side hustle somehow, like a business, right? By 30, you want to establish a very clear career path. You want to be like, okay, this is what I want to do. In your 20s, you're making the mistakes, you're trying different things. By your 30s, you need to start establishing a clear career path. Some people like me, it went beyond 30 before I was like sure what I want to do. And I'm a very flexible or versatile person, so I really don't want to spend so much time doing one thing because I want to experience life. But most people want that stability. They want that settlement. They want to be sure that this is what I'm going to be doing. This is what I'm focused on. And sometimes it pays. It pays because you are specializing in a certain area. You spend so much time on it. By the time you get to, let's say, 40, you spend so much time, you understand that area so well, you become an expert, right? Some of us, we're easy. We can change from one thing to another. We still make money. We still easy. It depends on what you want. But the thing is, you need to at least have a very clear area in which your career is focused on, especially if you're employed. But even if you're going into business, like I said, you have to niche down and decide on which business you want to do and when to start it and how to go about it. This is the time to kind of make a very clear decision on, I want to specialize in this path, or I want to grow in this area. It doesn't mean that you have to be very rigid about it, but it gives you an idea of which area, which sector, which industry you actually want to focus on in your life. It just gives you a very clear path. So not only career-wise, but also business-wise. Then you want to know your numbers. I say this all the time when I'm doing my financial coaching. Know your numbers, track your expenses, create a budget if you can. Some people don't like budgets. Track your expenses, know your numbers. That just means you need to know what is incoming, what's outgoing, and where is it outgoing to, where is it incoming from, and how do you actually use it. Know your numbers. There's no way you can invest, get to financial success without understanding your numbers. You need to understand what your numbers are, how they flow in and out into your life, and make sure that you track them. Tracking them doesn't mean that you create a budget all the time and track every single coin. It means you know exactly, if someone asks you where is majority of your money going, how much are you investing, how much are you spending, you know all these things. So know your numbers, know your finances, master your finances. If you don't master your finances, they will master you, and it's not the best place to be, because then they go where they want to go. It's not where you want them to go. So master your finances by 30. Know about financial literacy, be interested in books, be interested in investing, be interested in wealth creation, be interested in reading about money. This is the time to make sure that you are not playing around, you're not wasting money, because like I said, the earlier you put that money to work, the more chances are it's going to make you way more money. Then you want to maximize your tax advantage accounts. The accounts that you use, could it be bank accounts, investment accounts mainly, you want to make sure that you are using tax advantage accounts. Maximize them out. Each jurisdiction, each country has some kind of incentives when it comes to investing and saving. Make sure you use those accounts to invest and avoid tax legally, so that you don't spend so much money paying taxes that you could actually avoid. So maximize and leverage those tax accounts that could help you grow your wealth much faster. This is one of the best ways to actually grow your wealth, because each year you find that there's a limit that you're given. Like in the UK, we have what we call the ISA. With the ISA, we can save up to £20,000 in a year tax-free, and that will be growing tax-free, and you can withdraw it and do whatever you want with it. So like today, the 6th of April, is the new tax year in the UK, and so yesterday was the last and the final tax year, so we reset our allowance for the year and we start that journey again until next year, April. So again, each jurisdiction, different rules. Make sure you look at your country and the rules and the policies and take advantage of those tax advantage account or incentivized accounts that you can use to grow your wealth. And then one bonus one is focus on yourself. Focus on building yourself, invest in yourself, in your skills. Invest in, if you're doing business, invest in the skills that would actually help you succeed. If you are in career and industry, make sure that you're investing in skills that could make you last longer in that particular sector or industry. Make sure you are future proof in terms of, the changing environment. You invest in yourself continuously. We say nowadays you can get all the certificates you can, but what matters are the skills that you have and how much you learn through the process, how much you're dynamic, how much you can change with the times. So make sure you invest in yourself. Make sure you put some money towards your personal development. Make sure you focus on yourself. Limit the amount of time and resources you put on other people and put them on yourself, on your growth, on your development, and on those who depend on you. And if you still don't have dependents, then this is the time to prepare the foundation so that when they come, if they will, then you have a very easy foundation, easy time. Now, these things, if you do them by the time you're 30, you are almost 90% sure you are set up financially speaking. You are almost 90% sure that you're going to succeed financially if you stay on this path. Of course, some things will not be exactly as it is. It's not like a very specific, rigid rule book. Everyone will have their experiences, but as long as you are close to some of these things, as long as you're in control of your money, you're going to be fine. But sometimes, again, you leave one thing out and it messes up everything that you're doing right. So you want to make sure that you're balancing everything. You want to make sure that it's also working for you as a person. So make sure your circumstances can fit within these things and can fit within those goals that you're actually setting. Don't go and take some things that don't fit in your life and try to force them into your life, right? So it has to work for you as well. So these are just guidelines on what you need to do. Let me know in the comment section what you think. Let me know where you think you are at the moment, where you feel like you're doing really well or doing badly and you need to change. Let me know what you think about the video. Until next time, I'm out.